Okay, so remember when you were a kid and someone told you that your fingerprint is totally unique? That out of the 8 billion people on Earth and the over 100 billion humans who've ever lived, no two fingerprints have ever been the same? Yeah. Turns out that might be complete nonsense. In January 2024, a college student at Columbia University literally broke forensic science. He fed an AI some fingerprint data, expecting nothing crazy to happen. Instead, the AI basically said, "These fingerprints from different fingers? They're actually pretty similar." And the entire forensics community lost their minds. Here's what's wild. For over 100 years, we've been sending people to prison based on fingerprint evidence. Detectives on TV talk about prints like they're absolute proof. Your phone unlocks with your fingerprint like it's Fort Knox security. But this 20-year-old undergraduate student just proved that everything we thought we knew might be wrong. So are your fingerprints actually unique? Can they really identify you? And if they're not unique, how many people are in prison right now because of bad science? Let's get into this mess. Section 1. The history. We've been guessing this whole time. First, let's talk about how we even started using fingerprints, because the origin story is honestly sketchy. Back in the 1800s, a Scottish doctor named Henry Faulds was working in Japan when he noticed ancient potters' fingerprints on 2,000-year-old pottery. He started collecting fingerprints from colleagues and realized they looked different. Then someone stole alcohol from his hospital, left a print on the glass, and Faulds matched it to identify the culprit. And just like that, fingerprinting was born. No rigorous testing, no statistical analysis. Just, hey, these look different to me. Here's the problem that nobody wants to talk about. The idea that no two people have identical prints has never actually been proven. Ever. We've just assumed it's true for over a century. Think about that. We've built entire legal systems, sent people to prison for life, created security systems worth billions, all based on an assumption from the 1800s that nobody properly tested. I actually went down a rabbit hole reading about this, and fingerprint experts have never agreed on how many matching points two prints need before declaring they're the same. Some say 8 points, others say 10, some say 20. It's literally subjective. That's not science. That's guesswork with expensive equipment. Section 2. The 2024 bombshell. A college kid breaks everything. So here's where it gets interesting. In 2024, Gabe Guo, an undergraduate senior at Columbia, was stuck at home during COVID lockdowns. A professor casually asked him, "Do you think that every fingerprint is actually unique?" Most people would say, "Yeah, obviously," and move on. But Guo actually decided to test it, and what he found changed everything. He grabbed a public US government database with about 60,000 fingerprints, 10 fingers from thousands of people. Then he fed them into an AI system. Sometimes he'd give the AI 2 prints from the same person's different fingers. Sometimes from 2 different people. And he asked the AI, "Can you tell if these belong to the same person?" The AI started learning. And here's what freaked everyone out. The AI could identify fingerprints from different fingers of the same person with 77% accuracy. 77%. Your different fingers' prints aren't as unique as we thought. They share patterns. The AI could look at your thumbprint and your pinky print and say, "Yeah, same person." When Guo tried to publish this, forensic journals rejected it. The reviewers literally said, "It is well known that every fingerprint is unique," and refused to believe the results. But Guo kept adding more data, making the AI better, until the evidence was undeniable. Science Advances finally published it, and the forensics world had a meltdown. Section 3. What the AI saw that humans missed. So what was the AI actually finding? Because for decades, forensic experts have been looking at fingerprints a certain way, focusing on minutiae. That's the technical term for branchings and endpoints in fingerprint ridges. But the AI ignored all that. Instead, it focused on the angles and curvatures of the swirls and loops in the center of the fingerprint. Think of it like this. Traditional forensics was reading the words in a book. The AI was looking at the font and page layout. Completely different approach. And here's what's crazy, the angles and curvatures at the center of your fingerprints are similar across your different fingers. Your thumb might have different minutiae than your index finger, but the overall swirl pattern, surprisingly similar. I actually looked at my own fingerprints after reading this, and once you know what to look for, you can kind of see it. The general flow, the way the ridges curve there, is a similarity I never noticed before. The implications are huge. If a criminal leaves a thumbprint at one crime scene and a pinky print at another, police traditionally couldn't link them. But with this AI, they potentially could. This could help prioritize leads in ambiguous situations and maybe even reopen cold cases. Section 4. The uncomfortable truth about fingerprint science. Alright, so now we need to talk about something uncomfortable. Fingerprint analysis has always been kind of sketchy. A 2009 report by the National Academy of Sciences found that fingerprint analysis lacks the rigorous validation found in other forensic disciplines. It's subjective. Different analysts looking at the same prints can reach different conclusions. And yet, in courtrooms, fingerprint experts testify with absolute certainty. This print matches the defendant. No probability, no margin of error, just certainty, even though the reliability hasn't been scientifically proven. There have been actual cases, where fingerprint evidence was later proven wrong. People convicted, years of their lives taken away, because an expert was confident about a match that wasn't actually a match. And here's something that bothers me. Identical twins may have similar fingerprint patterns. Not identical, but similar enough that it complicates things. Plus, fingerprints can be altered through scars, burns, or surgical procedures. Some criminals have literally tried to remove their fingerprints. So we've got a system that was never properly validated, relies on subjective interpretation, can be fooled or altered, and now we find out that fingerprints from the same person are more similar than we thought. Section 5. What this means for your phone, and everything else. Now let's talk about how this affects you right now. Your phone's fingerprint scanner? It's using the same basic principle as forensic fingerprint matching, just automated. And here's the thing, it's not perfect. You've probably had times where your phone doesn't recognize your finger, or you have to try multiple times. That's because fingerprint analysis is complex, involving general patterns and specific details. Your phone is making a probability judgment. This print is probably you, not, this is definitely you. With multiple fingers registered, your phone could theoretically get confused between your different fingers because of those shared patterns the AI discovered. Though to be fair, most phone security is designed with convenience in mind, not Fort Knox level security. The bigger question is, if forensic fingerprinting has been shaky this whole time, what does that mean for all the people convicted based on fingerprint evidence? I'm not saying everyone in prison based on fingerprints is innocent, but I am saying we've been treating fingerprint evidence as infallible when it clearly isn't. This research could potentially help exonerate innocent suspects, or help create new leads in unsolved cases. And for future cases, this AI approach could actually improve fingerprint analysis by looking at patterns humans missed. Used correctly, it might make the system more accurate, not less. Look, here's the bottom line. Your fingerprint is still unique to you. The odds of someone else having your exact fingerprint are less than 1 in 64 billion. So you're still astronomically unlikely to share a fingerprint with someone else. But your different fingerprints, they're more similar to each other than we thought. And the way we've been analyzing fingerprints for over 100 years? Turns out we've been missing important patterns. This is what happens when we accept something as scientific fact without properly testing it. For over a century, we just assumed fingerprints were completely unique because it seemed obvious. Nobody bothered to rigorously prove it until a college student with an AI decided to actually check. And that's both terrifying and exciting. Terrifying because it exposes flaws in our justice system. Exciting because it shows AI can discover things that humans missed for decades. The forensics community is going to have to adapt. Courts are going to have to reconsider how they treat fingerprint evidence. And maybe, just maybe, we'll finally start demanding actual scientific rigor in forensic science instead of just trusting expert opinion. Technology doesn't lie. It reveals truths we're uncomfortable with. And sometimes, those truths shake the foundation of everything we thought we knew. If this video made you look at your own fingerprints, hit that like button. Drop a comment if you've ever been locked out by your phone's fingerprint scanner, now you know why. And subscribe to Tech Underhood because we're diving into the science that challenges everything you thought was true. See you in the next one. And maybe don't trust everything you learned in elementary school.